The Donald Trump backlash continued today with the Los Angeles School District canceling an event at a Trump golf course, the Federal Aviation Administration dropping Trump-related navigation codes, and the perfume maker Perfumania cutting ties with Trump, which means you, dear viewer, sadly soon may not be able to purchase either the Success by Trump or Empire by Trump colognes. Joining me now are McKay Coppins, senior political writer at BuzzFeed News, and Javier Palomares, president and CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Javier, let me begin with you. You have been one of the key folks talking to various businesses about cutting ties with Trump. What have those conversations been like?
Well, you know, I have to say, Chris, that our conversations with corporate leaders all over this country has been very well received. I'm very happy for our friends in corporate America, specifically Comcast, NBC Universal, Univision, Macy's, and many others for severing ties with Donald Trump. I think it's interesting, though, that for every large corporation that we all hear about, there are many, many other smaller entities and organizations that are leaving Donald Trump in droves. By way of example, our organization was looking at two venues in the following 12 months that were both Donald Trump-owned venues, one in Miami and one here in Washington, D.C. We have since decided we will not be going to those properties. And in our decision alone, that's several $1 million that Donald Trump will suffer in losses. In addition, we represent 3.2 million Hispanic-owned firms in this country that collectively contribute over $486 billion to the American economy. And we do our work through a network of 200 local chambers and business associations throughout the United States. Already, we've heard from more than 25 of our member companies that were considering Trump-owned properties for corporate outings, for galas, for golf outings, even for dinners, and all of them are canceling. Interesting to me is that we're also hearing frankly more from non-Hispanic organizations and non-Hispanic executives and business leaders that are canceling everything from personal vacations. And so I think that the tip of the spear is what we're seeing now, but this will be prolonged, it will be acute, and it will go for quite some time. And downstream effect, I think, will be significant.
Well, McKay, this brings me to the question of, you wrote this sort of definitive piece about Trump sort of messing with all of us to get us to pay attention to him because he might run for president.
Right.
Then, I think because you wrote your piece, he was like, I'll show that McKay Coppins, I'm going to run for president. Well, now here we are. He's at the top of these national polls. A lot of people are like, this is preposterous. This guy obviously is not going to be president of the United States. Will he even stay in long enough? But I don't know what to make of the phenomenon.
Well,
what do you make of
it? So my working theory, and this is still evolving as this is all happening, but my working theory has been over the last few weeks since he got into the race, was that he basically had backed himself into a corner, and now he's kind of taking the plunge without any real plan. And this only strengthens my theory. I don't think he thought, I can't imagine that he knew going into this race that this was going to cost him millions and millions of dollars, that it was going to be so costly for his business, that it was going to, permanently really do real damage to his brand, not politically, but in the business world and in the entertainment world. I don't think he knew that going in, and the fact that now this is the walls are crumbling around him. I think he's kind of just like, well, I got to stay in now. I don't know what else to do, right?
Javier, do you worry that what he's been saying about immigration, particularly about Mexican immigrants, which he keeps saying over and over, that the Mexican government is sending their worst people, etc. Do you worry that represents a broader set of views than just Donald Trump, that there are people within the base of that party that are buying that?
Well, no doubt that there are people within the base that believe that, but I don't think it's fair to use a broad brush when considering the entirety of the Republican Party. I do believe that it is more inclusive. It's a little bit more modernized than that. I'd like to commend Governor Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio for stepping out strongly in opposition to his views. The reality of it is the Mexican government isn't sending anybody anywhere. People are coming here to work.
Yes.
And if you look at the contributions that immigrants make to this country, particularly when you look at them from an entrepreneurial perspective, consider that 1 out of every 5 new companies that started in this country is started by an immigrant. 1 out of every 10 American workers is employed by an immigrant-owned company. As we stand, immigrant-owned companies contribute over $780 billion to the American economy, and the facts go on. So I think the facts speak for themselves. It is concerning that I see an element of the Republican Party that appears to be buying into this, and I think that'd be disastrous, frankly.
Very quickly, is there any upside for people to be able to distance themselves from Trump and appear moderate?
Within the party? Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you consider that the donor class of the Republican Party is fairly pro-immigration. I think you will see certain candidates continue to use him as a foil.
Very interesting. McKay Coppins and Javier Palomares, thank you, gentlemen, both. That is all in for this evening. The Rachel Maddow Show starts now. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Chris. Thanks, my friend.
You bet.